What up? What up? It is Alex, the Fantasy Football Hustler, back at you with another start and sit episode. This one is for the wide receivers. I go through every single game. We got 16 of them. If you need to jump to a game specifically, hit those timestamps. I also mix in the quarterbacks at the end of every matchup as well for the starts and sits. I'm trying to be quick per matchup. Let's get to it. The first Thanksgiving game that we have is the Lions taking on the Bears. It's a 48.5 over under. A 10-point favorite. The Bears have been really good about shutting down wide receivers, but I got to play Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to lean on not playing Jameson Williams in this game versus the Bears or anybody else besides Amon-Ra. And then on the flip side, for the longest time, the Lions were a great matchup versus the wide receivers. But over the last handful of weeks, they've really been shutting it down. Because of the over-under, I'll say I want to play DJ. I want to score more. But outside of him, I don't want to start Keenan Allen. I don't want to start a Dunze unless my team is just in a level of desperation where I'm forced to. And it's a super high over-under, but I feel like that's Fugazi, and I feel like I don't want to start any of the quarterbacks in this matchup. No Goff, no Caleb for me this week in a single QB league. We got a few ugly divisional matchups going down on Thanksgiving. This next one is between the Cowboys and the Giants. Both teams with their backup quarterbacks, 37.5 over under. This game is going to be ugly. Ugly. Cowboys, 3.5-point favorite. Giants giving up more points to the wide receivers over the last 5 weeks than the entire season. I'm going to start CD just because we feel like he's going to get all the volume. Nobody else. And I want to say to start Neighbors with a whole bunch of confidence, but Neighbors is like a flex guy to me with Tommy, Danny, DeVito. He's nothing but crap.
Whoa. You telling me I'm the crap?
Sucks, man. So I don't want to start anybody over here. I started off this matchup by making fun of the quarterback. So no, we're not starting any of the quarterbacks, especially when no teams are on bye. All right, the Thanksgiving Thursday night football game is between the Packers and the Dolphins. 47 is the over-under. Packers are a 3-point favorite. Both teams' defenses have been so good, I really don't know how they get to this 47. Dolphins have been a horrible matchup all season for the wide receivers. Maybe over the last 5 weeks, they've been a little bit better because they're middle of the road being like an absolute bad matchup. This game is all about your level of desperation as well. The Thursday night games, I feel, are going to just disappoint all around. We're not going to get any Romeo Dubs because he got a concussion. So I'll say start Reed just because there's like nobody else over there. I really don't want to start Christian Watson, man. That guy just disappoints and keeps dropping the ball. And then Green Bay, they are kind of like the worst matchup that you can have for wide receivers. I mean, look at all their numbers below. 7th for the season in points, expected points against for the season, 1st. And their EPA over the last 5 weeks is 2nd. So they've really never changed from being a horrible matchup to the wide receivers. But when Jair Alexander is not there, things kind of change. He missed this past week. I don't know if he misses this Thursday, but I'm going to say to just tread lightly with Tyreek Hill because he's been disappointing us all year, and I do not want to chase the points from Waddle. So I'm just going to say sit both of these guys. It's going to be all about your team and the level of desperation if you have to start these guys or not, because it's a horrible matchup, and they keep disappointing us. Finally, Waddle has a good game this past week. Literally the best game of the season for him. Who knows if he could duplicate that? And because the matchups are so ugly for the quarterbacks as well, I just want to sit both guys here. If I was going to play one over the other, I would be playing Jordan Love over Tua. But it's ugly, and I really don't think that they hit 47 in this. I think they hit the under. I don't think it's going to be any good games on Thursday. We got a Black Friday game this year. Yes, sir. The Chiefs taking on the Raiders, 42.5 over under. Yuck. Chiefs a 12.5-point favorite. Raiders a below average matchup to the wide receivers. I will still start D-Hop. Chiefs over the last 5 weeks have been a positive matchup for the wide receivers. The only way that I'll start Jacoby Myers, because there's nobody else worth starting over there, is one, if I'm desperate, because I feel like there's going to be a bunch of garbage time in this game, but that's probably all that we're going to be able to bank on. So if you're starting Jacoby Myers, I would not watch the game. Just watch in the 4th quarter. See how he does. I'll start Mahomes, and I'm not starting Desmond Ridder or Aiden O'Connell. It's going to be very ugly. We made it all the way to the Sunday game. Let's go. First game on the slate. We got an AFC South battle between the Jaguars and the Texans. 43 is the over-under. Yuck. Texans a 5-point favorite. Jaguars, we already know they give up the booty to running backs, to wide receivers, to tight ends, to quarterbacks, literally everything. Gonna start Nico for sure. Gonna even start Tank Dell. I think he'll be a solid flex this week. And if I have CJ Stroud, this will be one of the weeks that I play him. He has not been good for the most part, but going against the Jaguars, they kind of make everybody good. I know they've been playing a little bit better over the last couple weeks than versus the entire season, but it doesn't matter. They're going to get whooped up in this game. And whoever's the quarterback for the Jaguars, I'm just going to leave him on the bench because everything has just been all bad over there. Another early game on Sunday going down is between the Patriots and the Colts. This game is filled with a lot of very low over-unders, 42.5 over-under on this game. Colts a 2.5-point favorite on the road. That shows you how bad the Patriots have been. Colts have been doing a lot better at defending the wide receiver as of late. I don't want to play anyone on the Patriots as far as the wide receivers go. Patriots have been the opposite as time has gone on. They've given up more and more points. I'll start Pittman, but that's really the only person I want to start. And as far as the QBs go, not playing either one of these QBs. Anthony Richardson is so fluky. I don't want to mess with it. And then Drake May, because of the matchup versus the Colts, how they have not been a good matchup for quarterbacks over the last handful of weeks. I'm just not messing with either quarterback, and I'm not really messing with too many pieces in this game in general this week. Finally, we got a better over under here. We got the Falcons versus the Chargers, and it's a 47-point over under. Hopefully these guys can hit the over. Chargers are a 1.5-point favorite on the road. Chargers for the season have been kind of a middle of the road matchup for the wide receivers, and over the last 5 weeks been a really good matchup for the wide receivers. I'm going to start Drake London. I'm going to start Mooney. Drake London probably going to be covered by Asante Samuel Jr. So just keep that in mind, because even though we think he might do good, he might be middle of the road. I like Mooney a little bit better because he's not going to be covered by Asante Samuel Jr. more often than not. And then on the flip side, Falcons, really, really good matchup. Even though they got AJ Terrell over there, they've still been giving up a crazy amount of points to the wide receivers. I'll start Lad McConkey. But that's really it. I don't want to play Josh Palmer. I definitely don't want to play Quentin Johnston. We know that Quentin Johnston will have better games than he had, but he is so fluky that I just don't want to mess with him. Ever since he has been a rookie in the NFL, where I and other people have been talking about how bad his hands are, and it sucks when he puts it on display, and we're banking on him in fantasy football. So I don't want to bank on him. We're not starting him. As far as the quarterbacks go, I will start both guys. I'm starting Herbert. Falcons have been one of the better matchups for QBs. And the Chargers, they were a middle of the road matchup, and now they're a positive matchup for the quarterback. So I'm going to say play Kirk Cousins. Another Sunday early game on the slate is the Jets versus the Seahawks. 41.5 over under, another ugly game. Seahawks have been a positive matchup for the wide receivers, so I'm gonna say start Devontae Adams. I'm gonna say start Garrett Wilson. Both these guys are like wide receiver 2s or flexes to me because of how shaky the Jets have just been overall, but we're gonna start them nonetheless. On the flip side, the Jets defense, they've been pretty good as a whole for the season, but as of late turned into more of a middle of the road matchup than a shutdown matchup. Maybe a bunch of the teams just kind of quitting. I'm nervous about starting DK because I bet Sauce is lined up on him a bunch, but DK is just one of the biggest red zone threats like ever. So I'm going to say to start him, even if it's like wide receiver 2, maybe even flex status this week. And I'm going to start JSN because JSN's not going to be covered by Sauce running so much out of the slot. He's just going to get a lot of volume like he has been getting. We got to ride the hot hand. JSN's been the hot hand. As far as the quarterbacks go, there's nobody on bye, so I don't want to start Aaron Rodgers in a single QB. The Seahawks have been a bad matchup against the quarterbacks. I will start Geno, though, because the Jets have been a really positive matchup for the quarterback, so we're going to ride the wave. Next game on the slate, we got the Commandos taking on the Titans. 44.5 over under. Commandos a 5.5-point favorite. Titans have been a really bad matchup versus the wide receivers, but L'Jarius Sneed did get put on IR. So I'm rocking Scary Terry this week, but really that's it. Everyone else kind of just been fluky at best. And Washington, kind of middle of the road, but you see for the season, they're actually giving up more points than expected. And I feel like because of that, the two guys who I would start in flex capacity, I will say just start as flexes. I'd be Calvin Ridley and Nick Westbrook-Ekine. Westbrook-Ekine has just been killing it, man. It's like touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Doesn't get a crazy amount of points, but he keeps his floor high. But he does need to get those touchdowns. I feel like with how much emphasis regardless, these teams put on Calvin Ridley in the red zone, that Westbrook Ekind's gonna be in the position to get another touchdown again. So we're playing both. They may be flexes, but we're rocking Ridley and we're rocking Westbrook Ekind this week. Very quick intermission before the next game, reminding you guys to go join the crew at 420crew.com. It is our fantasy community. You could join for free. You could join as a paid member. You'll be able to find a bunch of leagues being there. You'll be able to get a bunch of advice being there. Join as a paid member. Look at the different levels of access that you get. And you want to stay in the loop there for all the leagues that are going to be starting. The next league start the very beginning of January for the NFL playoffs. You do not want to miss these. Back to the action. We got an AFC North battle of all battles between the Bengals and the Steelers. 47 is the over-under. Bengals are a 3-point favorite. Straight pick them. Steelers have been killing it against wide receivers. So, of course, we're going to play Chase and we're going to play Higgins, assuming that they both play, but we have to be very, very nervous about it. But I'm just being realistic. Like, we don't sit a guy like Jamar Chase, and Higgins has been so good that we need to play a guy like him. Joey Porter Jr. is more than likely going to be covering Jamar Chase, which could mean good things for Higgins. On the flip side, the Bengals have been a super smash matchup for the wide receivers. We'll play Pickens, but I really don't want to play anybody other than that. If we're talking about dart throw flexes, it would not be Mike Williams. It would be Calvin Austin, who I said last week was in the same dart throw flex kind of category. It's going to be fluky, but in these positive matchups, I feel like we can roll him out there. The quarterback matchups are almost identical to what you see in the stats below. Steelers, horrible matchup versus the quarterback. But we have to play Burrow. He's been doing so good. We cannot sit him, because if he goes and throws up 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, I'm not going to be the guy who told you to sit him because of that. But we have to know if this is the worst matchup for a quarterback over the last 5 weeks is the Steelers. Bengals have been the exact opposite. They've been one of the best matchups for quarterbacks. So I will start dangerous if you have nobody else. But if you're in a single QB league, though, I don't know. I'm probably just going to sit Russ, because this could be just a tough divisional matchup either way, and we could get a lot of underperformers in this game. The last game of the Sunday early slate games, we got the Vikings taking on the Cardinals, 45.5 over under. Another game that I feel really hits the under. I hate to be such a Debbie Downer this week, but man, a lot of these matchups have screaming the under. Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. For the Vikings, dude, we got to play Justin Jefferson, right? Like, it really sucks, because on paper, it's a decent matchup. Over the last 5 weeks, the Cardinals have not been giving up a bunch of points to the wide receivers. So we're going to start Jefferson. Addison, I'll say, is a flex play. And then the flip side, Vikings, for most of the season, have been one of the better matchups, but they've also been holding it down a little bit more versus the wide receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr., we got to start him. He's going to be covered by Byron Murphy Jr., though. It's the only person that I'm starting. It sucks. It really does. And Kyler, I don't want to start him. He's just been so fluky. Like, I really don't. He could blow up and I'll be fine with it on my bench, because he's been so fluky. And Darnold, same thing. Single QB league, I'm just leaning on sitting him. Cardinals have been holding it down against the QBs as of late, and both of these guys have just been very inconsistent. The first Sunday afternoon game, we're talking the Saints versus the Rams. 48.5 is the over-under, one of the highest on the week. Rams are a 3-point favorite. Rams are a great matchup against the wide receivers. The only one that's really worth starting, I feel, is MVS, though. And the Saints, they're a great matchup for the wide receivers. So Kupp and Puka, fire them up.
All right, fire them up.
Derek Carr, I'll start him. Stafford, I'll start him. We got an NFC South matchup in the afternoon games. The Panthers taking on the Bucks, 46.5 over under. I feel like this one hits the under. Bucks are the 6-point favorite. Bucks also giving up a bunch of points to wide receivers as a whole, but they've gotten a little bit healthier over the last couple weeks. So they're kind of more of a middle of the road matchup versus like a really smash matchup. I know everyone's going to go crazy for David. I want to score more. It's going to be dependent on if Coker plays, because when Coker plays, he wasn't getting the snaps and the target. And Thielen, he's probably going to take an uptick in snaps. I feel like with all the teams on bye, I kind of just don't want to start anybody over here. For the Bucks, on the flip side of things, I'll start Mike Evans, but I am a little bit nervous about it, though, because over the last couple weeks, Carolina has been really good against defending the wide receivers, at least giving up points to the wide receivers. And I feel like it's because teams are running so much and working through the tight ends that maybe the wide receivers just aren't getting that much volume against them. But I think Mike Evans gets the volume and gets into the end zone this week. Bryce Young, not going to start him. Baker, I kind of don't want to start either in this game. Last game of the afternoon slate has the highest over-under on the week. That's the Ravens taking on the Eagles. 51 is the over-under, and the Ravens are the 3-point favorite. Straight pick them. Eagles have been great against the wide receivers. I feel like for that reason, I don't want to start Flowers. It's been pretty fluky for him. And when they just run him like a traditional wide receiver versus a good secondary, just doesn't end up being good. We got to count on the fluky plays from him. Those end arounds, the jet sweeps, all those type of things. And I don't know if I want to bank on it this week with no teams on bye and everybody available. Rashad Bateman has been decent, especially way better than before, but I'm not falling for the bait, man. Not this week. I feel like this game hits the under and hits the under hard. I feel like it's going to be defense and rushing in this game. Baltimore is a great matchup on paper for the wide receivers. I'm going to start A.J. Brown. Just keep hanging around here for the Devonta Smith news. But yeah, as of right now, A.J. Brown's the smash in this game. I want to start Hurts and I want to start Lamar, but it's because of the work that I feel that both are going to be doing on the ground in this game because the defenses have been so tough. And I know the Ravens, they have given up a bunch of points to the wide receivers, but they've been playing a little bit better as of late. And as parts of the defense get healthier, even though Roquan wasn't there, we're just going to see the defense playing better as a whole as it starts getting freezing. Yes, we made it. We've been waiting all day for Sunday night. Let's hope this game is a good one. The Bills taking on the 49ers. 45 is the over-under in this game. Bills are a 7-point favorite. I wonder if they know something about Purdy starting or not starting, because we know it's going to make or break a lot of the wide receiver questions for the 49ers. 49ers defense been pretty stout against the wide receivers. And because they've been so stout against the wide receivers, I think that I'm just going to sit the Buffalo wide receivers. I feel like this is going to be a really big ground and pound game for both sides here, because both sides are good at defending the pass. On the flip side of things for San Fran, Bills more middle of the road, not a horrible matchup. And because we don't know if Purdy's going to be playing or not, I'm just going to say sit everybody. If Purdy plays, maybe you play Debo, but really they're using him just not in the best way. And it's been very, very whack, right? So I kind of don't want to start any of the wide receivers over here. I would start Josh Allen because of all the work that he gets on the ground. And if Purdy's there, maybe I'll start him, but I'm leaning on not starting him in a game like this, even if Purdy does play. Everybody's favorite game of the week is here. It is Monday Night Football. And this week we got the Broncos taking on the Browns. Guaranteed to be a stinker. 42 is the over-under. Yuck. Second week in a row that Cleveland's a part of one of the worst over-unders of the week. Cleveland has not been good at defending the wide receiver, except Ward, but he's only one man. I'm going to start Cortland Sutton because he's been on fire.
He's on fire!
Vele, I will start him because he's been getting enough work to where he's at least relevant, and we like the Monday night games, and Knicks has been lighting it up. Can't say the same for the Cleveland side of things because they're going up against the Broncos and Patrick Surtain Jr. Tillman, we don't know if he's going to play or not play, but he got a concussion, and we've seen even on Thursday, guys have been missing a week. Shit, sometimes we've seen guys miss multiple weeks because of the concussion. And even if Tillman plays, he's going to be guarded by Patrick Surtain Jr., so that wouldn't be good at all. Now, because he's more than likely not playing, that makes things worse for Judy, because if Tillman was playing, he wouldn't be covered by Patrick Surtain Jr. But now I bet a bunch of the game, Patrick Surtain Jr. is going to be covering him. So that makes him more of a dart throw flex guy to me. We hope that he gets the volume. And over the last couple weeks, Denver, they've been giving up more points than expected. So that's like my only reason for even saying, yes, Judy, dart throw flex that I would consider starting. If Tillman plays, it's way better for Judy. And Elijah Moore, nope. Bo Nix, yep. Jameis Winston, nah, I'm going to lean on the side of no. Broncos defense has been too good lately, so nah, not this time. Yes, we made it all the way to the end. Woo! 16 games in the books. Every fantasy relevant wide receiver talked about, even threw in the QBs. Let me know what you think about that, about me sneaking in the tight ends, sneaking in the QBs on these start and sit videos. Don't forget to join our fantasy community at 420crew.com. We got a bunch of leagues that you want to take part in, meet a bunch of fantasy degenerates just like yourselves. If you need advice for the playoff stretch, I'm the guy to come to. We're going to hit and hit and hit for the rest of the season and help everybody climb that mountain and get to the gold. 420crew.com. If you want to take part in the one-on-one advice, get on the superstar tier or higher. Look at the different levels of access that you get as you go up. And then don't forget to check out 420crewmerch.com. Go get yourself a dope tee and make sure you like and subscribe so you can be here on the live streams, because I'm going live damn near every day, answering questions, hanging with the community, talking it up, and giving you guys a good place to just relax and chill. Check out the waiver wire videos that dropped yesterday, and then check out the running back start and sit video where I also mix in the tight ends. We'll see you next show.